Alright, today I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the Xbox One X. I got this unit a little bit earlier with the help of a few friends in Taco Bell. This is the 1TB version, as it only comes in 1TB. It's got the 4K Blu-ray player, Ultra HD, and HDR. And on this side of the box, it basically gives you the same information. On the back, there's a picture of Forza 7. As you can see, it's running behind me. I've played this game in 4K HDR on the Vizio P series, and it looks fantastic. I've also played Gears of War, and I've also played Halo 5, and they've never looked better. I can finally say I truly believe we're playing next gen. This completely blows my PlayStation 4 Pro out the water. I don't think they're even in the same category anymore. On the side of the box, it tells you about the 6 teraflops that this unit has, making it the strongest console for video gaming ever made. And we'll do an unboxing. I'll try to get some 4K video footage for you and compile it all together. Y'all guys can check it out. Okay, this is the Xbox One X. This is what it looks like. I save you guys the time by kind of taking out the box ahead of time. It's just plastic and styrofoam wrapping. But anyway, this is the actual system itself. As you can see, it is black. This is how the Xbox One comes. It's only one color. As you can see, it's got the IR blaster, the eject button. On this side, it's got a USB A. It's got the sync button for your controller, and it's got the actual physical button for the power. On the other side, it has the saying "Hello from Seattle, Xbox One X." I know it's going to be hard to see on this video, but it is there. On the back, the ports are the same as the typical Xbox One S. So if you have Xbox One S, you should be very familiar with the ports. I'll zoom in so you guys can kind of see what those look like. But as I said, those are the same as the others. So I can focus for you guys. All right, there you guys go. You can see the ports on the back are the same as the One S. And in fact, I happen to bring my One S in here also, so you can see them side by side. So this is the Xbox One, the Xbox One S. You have the power, you have the HDMI out to the TV, you have HDMI in from a cable or satellite box, you have the 2 USB ports, IR blaster out if you have an external or IR blaster, you have the optical audio in, and you have the Ethernet cable for the high-speed internet connection. And you probably want to use a high-speed internet connection with both of these, but more so on the Xbox One. And I'll get into why in a second. Let me move the S out of the way. Okay, so on to the Xbox One. This is what comes in the box. You get the system itself, which is the Xbox One S. Xbox One X, sorry. You get the Xbox One paperwork. You get inside the literature, you have 3 things. Let's see, the first is 1 month subscription. 14-day subscription to Xbox Live Gold. I looked at these already. This is a 1 month subscription to the Game Pass service. So you can play, I think it's about 100 games you can play. Some are Xbox 360, some are Xbox One. Of course, Xbox One games do work on this. Some are Xbox One X Enhanced, some are not. And this is very basic instructions on how to connect it and get the whole thing working. And I'm sure you guys should know that. Like I said, it's the exact same setup as the Xbox One S. Also packaged in the box is a black controller. It feels and looks exactly like the One S controller, except it's black. Xbox One S obviously is white. It comes with the white controller. Unless you have a special edition. I think the analog sticks are a little more rubbery than I remember on my One S, but maybe that's just in my head. Of course, it comes with the 2 AA batteries, non-rechargeable, $500. You kind of hope to get a rechargeable pack, but if not, I mean, you know, it's cool. You can always get those pretty cheap. It comes with a set of high-speed HDMI cables inside the box. And last but not least, it's got the built-in power supply, so it is provided this small little power cable. And if you have a One S, it's the exact same cable. You can just unplug it from the One S and plug it right back into the One X, which is pretty impressive. So let's get into some games, starting with Gears of War 4. This game offers multiple modes for the Xbox One X owners, similar to Rise of the Tomb Raider. This has a 60 frame performance mode that displays 1080p with HDR, and it has the slightly enhanced visuals as well. This is basically the mode you'll want to play if you're using a 1080p TV or just want to see faster frame rates. The second mode, it has the mode you're seeing now, well, kinda. I actually tried to record this video using the Xbox One X built-in record feature, but I thought it was set to 4K. I actually had output it once I plugged to the computer to 1080p. So what you're seeing is 4K visuals, super sampled down to 1080p with HDR. You won't likely see the HDR, but hopefully you can see the difference between the One X compared to the Xbox and the Xbox One S. And if you pay attention to like JD Phoenix's armor, his skin, the texture, the blue glow on the backpacks, the reticle on the rifles, even the grass, how it looks plush and not flat, the texture on the wood and the metal in the scenes. I also check out the texture on the brick barricades and the bolts around the door. I want to remind you that what you're seeing is actually a quarter of the visual fidelity that I saw, because it's actually playing in 1080p, which is a quarter of the pixels that you would get if you were actually playing in 4K. So while this does look substantially better than the typical 1080p image, and that just kind of proves that the Xbox One X rather, does have value to 1080p gamers, but like I said, if you check the bolts around the doors, the texture of the metal, the skin tones, and the glow, and I can assure you that the glow is much cooler in HDR than it appears in this video. I often find myself, after I pop this game back in, just kind of wandering around the levels, checking it out. It is literally that much different to me anyway. And it was really worth it to just kind of roam around and check out the beauty of the game. And check out this storm scene. The solar flares, when playing in 4K HDR, is literally blinding. I mean, you can probably tell a little bit from this video, but trust me, it's even better in person in 4K with HDR. Like I say, just check out the blue glow on the armor, the texture of the bags, and all that. The next game I went into was Forza 7. And again, remember, this is a quarter of a pixel, so you're seeing a 1080p super sample image with HDR. Like I said, I'm not sure the HDR is actually going to carry across, but this is the inside view of Dunkervoot GTO, and I'm actually racing on a Top Gear track. If you're a car fan, I'm sure you know what the Top Gear track is. And this is me racing the Altima. I can say that that Forza 7 simply shines on the Xbox One, running at 4K 60 frames with HDR and with no hiccups. The texture on the pavement, the HDR glow from the brake lights, the rain effects is second to none. I've never seen rain effects in any game as good as the ones in Forza. I also want to point out you can kind of see the glow from the sun, but there are some instances when I'm racing around the track where the sunlight peeps through the clouds and through trees, and is literally making me squint my eyes to play the game, which is pretty cool. I also want to point out Forza Horizon 3 also gets the same treatment, gets the 4K assets. You can run a 4K 60 with HDR across all the environments of the Australian outback with the One X. And it never buckles or breaks a sweat. Like, this thing is a beast. Microsoft definitely delivered on the promise that they made. I do own a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I'm not really a fanboy of any one system. If I had to choose one system right now, it'd honestly be the Nintendo Switch. I play that more than everything else, but I can say right now that the PS4 Pro is really not holding a candle to what the Xbox One X is capable of. The only limiting factor of the Xbox One X is the CPU, which is why Destiny 2 does not run at 60 frames per second. Even though I think if it was a Microsoft Studios game, maybe they could have tweaked it enough to get it to do it. I mean, there's a lot of physics going on in Forza with multiple cars and track conditions and There's a lot going on, and I think perhaps that if Microsoft would have developed the game, it would have definitely run at 60 frames. But anyway, you do get a good idea checking out these. Check out the brake light glow in the pavement. You can actually see texture in the pavement. You can see texture in the gravel. And like I said, you're seeing a 1080p image super sample, so it's basically a 4K image. And you're seeing a quarter of the pixels. They basically compress it all down to give you a little more detail. But like I said, you really got to see it in person. Just take my word for it that it is a visually impressive system. These are just a couple of screenshots of Forza Horizon 7 loading. Like I said, maybe you can see a little bit of the increased detail and texture. The game looks really similar to these. Not quite as much, but you get a pretty good idea. The last game I decided to try out for you guys was one of the Xbox One Enhanced games. This is Halo 5. As you can tell, it doesn't disappoint. The texture detail makes everything from the ammo count on the battle rifle to the shadow detail noticeably clearer. The art style of Halo with all the straight edges really does benefit from the 4K asset models. The Xbox One X did maintain a rock solid 60 frames per second as I expected it to, because the One S pretty much does it. They use a dynamic scaler in this game, and from what I could tell, it didn't need to really, dynamically scale. This system has way more horsepower than the Xbox One or the Xbox One S. Overall, I think Microsoft delivered on this promise. What Microsoft has is a recipe for success. Like all recipes, you need quality ingredients to deliver a quality experience. Forza 7 is a tasty treat, but it won't be for everyone. Halo 5 and Gears have been out of the oven for a while and are good, but let's be honest, they're starting to get stale. Microsoft needs to get the troops in the kitchen, have them look at the Xbox One X and start cooking. Hopefully we'll be tasting the fruits of their labor along with the third parties late 2017 and 2018. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be adding more content such as tech and video game reviews, as well as some motorsports related content. Thanks for checking us out.